Years ago, a 50-year-old man started up this trail. Searching for his first geocache. As he looked up at the trail, up to the top of the mountain, he thought to himself, man, this is gonna be an awesome adventure. What a cool game. 10 years later, that same geocacher, now 60 years old, looks up at that same mountain and thinks to himself, damn, that mountain's gotten a lot taller. Years ago, I sat in this very spot and picked up my very first geocache. A big mammoo. I had just found out about geocaching somehow. I'm not sure what it was, the internet, a magazine, or what. But when I read about it, I got to thinking to myself, man, this looks like the coolest game ever. I got to give it a shot. So I think it was a day or so later, I went over to Walmart, and the only thing they had in stock was a $59 Magellan. It wasn't really set up for geocaching, so I went home and kind of read the instructions, and I typed the coordinates to this cache into it, and got ready for the next morning to head out and see if I could find it. Now back then, believe it or not, in 2008, there was only about 22 caches in this area. 22. I mean, and all of them were mammoos. It was a good time. It was a good time. But I chose this one. It was a climb, but you know, 10 years ago, it didn't seem as much of a climb as it did today. You know, 50 years old compared to 60 years old. I got that GPS out and I started up this trail, and I got about 100 feet down below, and the excitement kicked in. The only thing was, on that little GPS, man, the coordinates were bouncing all around, and I had no idea what GeoSense was or anything like that. So the GPS gave me a hand, and I got up here, and after about 5 minutes, I found that pile of rock. I pulled this can out, and man, I was excited, and believe you me, I was hooked. After finding a couple more geocaches with that little Magellan, I really started researching and found out a geocaching compatible GPS. I got a Garmin, I think it was a 62, and it was amazing. You could plug it into your computer and you could press a button and it would download the coordinates and everything right onto the GPS. Man, there was no typing in like with the Magellan. That was the neatest thing in the world. Back then, there was no such thing as phone apps or anything like that. You did it old-fashioned. You went with the GPS, and that was the way to do it. And I'll tell you what, after 10 years, that's still the way I do it. I I'm still old school. I like the GPSs, and I like the big caches. Well, it didn't take long to get those 22 caches, and slowly but surely they kept coming out and everything. And I guess it was probably about a year and a half later when all the urbans started showing up, and I didn't really like those from the very beginning, and I still don't care for them. I'll do them, but it's not something I run out to get. I cut my teeth on GPSs and big caches, and I'm still that way today. You can see by my numbers in the 10 years I've only got 805 caches or so, and you know, it's not really the numbers for me, it's the quality, the hiking, the views. You know, I just don't see much of a view in a Walmart parking lot, but that's just my opinion. Don't hate me. Don't hate me because I'm a snobby geocacher. Maybe someday we'll get to the point where I can't climb a mountain or ride my ATV or get out into the middle of the desert to do a lot of geocachings, and you know, then it's a possibility. Maybe then I'll start doing the urbans, but you know, hopefully that time will never come. The original logbook. Let me see if I can find my my log. Woohoo, there it is. 126:08 at 9:48 in the morning. Awesome. Great hike. Took a cork and left the city of Alamogordo riding pin. Wasn't much on riding logs. It was my first one. I didn't know what I was doing. Now, I said I left the city of Alamogordo riding pin. 10 years later, buddy, it's still here. It doesn't ride anymore, but my original swag is still here. Well, I left a little visiting log. A lot of memories. Well, not much more to say except YOLO! Number 1, mwah! Get off the couch. Go visit your first cache and tell me about it. All right, talk to y'all later. 10-year anniversary. I just thought about it. I've been geocaching longer than my last marriage lasted. I'm a sweetheart. I don't know why that ended. GoPro, stop recording.